Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir. It is such a pleasure and a privilege to be here. As Dr. LeBlanc said, I do have a 3-month-old at home. So last year I had so many compliments because I delivered this speech without notes, and I'm now very sleep deprived. So I have a few notes. I have 3 questions I've written down, and I would like to talk about those 3 questions now. The first is, what are we celebrating tonight? And the most obvious answer is the medical students and the nurse practitioner students who are in this room tonight, who are going to be the future healthcare providers for New Brunswick patients, who are going to help us address some of the biggest challenges we face. And I have so much admiration for the work you're doing, not only the courses and the stresses and the pressures you're taking on today, but for the service and dedication you will provide in careers for decades to come. That is incredible. The work you're doing is incredible. And we're also celebrating the realization of a dream. We heard earlier about Dr. Donald Craig and his vision to create the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation. And I'll share a little bit about how that dream came to be. So much like Dr. Simon, who spoke about his decades in practice and what would happen when he retired, Dr. Donald Craig, back in 2010, had a very similar fear. What would happen when he left practice? What would happen to those patients? And some of you may have heard this story, but please bear with me. But at the time, Dr. Craig thought, what if instead of allocating all of these resources, all of our resources, to bringing physicians to New Brunswick from out of province, what if we took some of those resources and reallocated them to our students, to empowering the next generation of New Brunswick physicians to live and work and establish their careers in New Brunswick? And that's how we were created. And it was an incredible thing. And in that first year, in 2010, this foundation was able to award 3 scholarships, totaling $20,000 in tuition relief. Tonight, we are awarding $1.4 million to 166 students through 176 awards. Since 2010, we have awarded 900 scholarships. How incredible is that? So we often hear the expression on the shoulders of giants. In our foundation, we get to stay on the shoulder of one giant, one incredible giant who, though he couldn't be here tonight, I believe he is watching us right now through the live stream. So if we could, please give a hand to Dr. Donald Craig. Thank you. And the final thing that we're celebrating tonight is what you might have seen on our annual report. We've called that reshaping physician recruitment. And it's not because the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation is responsible for reshaping physician recruitment or innovation, but we want to celebrate that sense of innovation and creativity that allows us to find solutions to problems in a proactive, innovative way that are going to make a difference, that are evidence-based, that we can learn from, and that we can scale what works. So I'm really pleased to say, have found one of those solutions. It's part of the vast ecosystem of solutions that are going to help make our province a better place and help us address some of the greatest challenges. My second question that I wrote down is, what makes this possible? First of all, back to you students. Without you, we would not be inspired to do the work we're doing. Every time that you submit a scholarship application, we get to read it and we get to hear the myriad of stories and experiences and perspectives and dreams and goals that you bring to the table. It's incredible. It's one of the greatest highlights of the year is when Natalie and I get to go through those applications and meet you and see who you are. And for those in the room who haven't had that chance, I'll share a few tidbits, which is that our recipients this year come from 43 different New Brunswick hometowns. They're from all over and represent almost every single New Brunswick community. 60% are bilingual and will be able to interact with patients in their language of choice. Isn't that amazing? 45% of our recipients this year are from historically marginalized groups. And over 50 of the students we support are attending Francophone language medical programs as well. So we see students who literally have almost every background we could imagine. And I'm very pleased to say that while we supported 1 future nurse practitioner last year, that number has grown to 7 this year. So we're seeing We are seeing enormous growth, and we have as well added one pharmacist scholarship so far for next year as well. So that list is going to continue to grow, and our goal as a foundation is to enhance access to primary care. So we are going to continue to do that and to grow. The second group that makes this possible is the donors. We've said it time and time again, the donors, the people who allow these scholarships to be possible, are the lifeblood of our foundation. Without you, we wouldn't be able to invest in our future. And it's incredible that every donor in this room, everybody here in this room, we share a collective vision where every New Brunswicker can access the healthcare services they need when they need them most. And we're all collectively working to make that a reality. Isn't that amazing? And then the final group I want to acknowledge is, of course, our staff, our board, and the partners in the healthcare recruitment ecosystem that make this work. Tonight we have Natalie Boyce, David Ryan here, who are my two colleagues in the office of the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation. You've already met our board members. But what's really interesting, too, is we have members tonight from the Department of Health, who you would have seen Jen up here. We have representatives from both regional health authorities, Horizon and Vitality, here. We have representatives from both medical schools in New Brunswick here tonight. That level of collaboration, that level of partnership and dialogue, that helps us ensure that for the students, you have the smoothest possible transition into employment here in New Brunswick. And that takes a lot of work, and we're trying to get better at it, and I promise you we will, because it matters. Ensuring that you feel welcomed and valued and everything else, that you have a place, a safe and wonderful, fulfilling career to come to, that matters to us. So my commitment to you students is that we're going to make that happen. And then my third question that I wrote down is, where do we go from here? We've talked about a record year, $1.4 million in tuition relief. That was something I dreamed of 3 years ago. But the fact is we were able to support 80% of applications this year, of eligible qualified applications. That's amazing. That makes us one of the biggest scholarship programs in Canada. And if you apply to our foundation, you have an 8 in 10 chance of getting an award. That's incredible. But wouldn't it be amazing if we could fund 100% of eligible applications? And that, along with David Ryan, our fundraising manager, that's what we're going to try to accomplish. And we've made great strides, and we're going to continue making great strides because we all recognize the need is dire. We all have a stake in healthcare in New Brunswick, personal, professional, and as a citizen. And once we close that gap, we know we'll be able to help with other challenges in the province as well. I don't know if you've seen, but the province published a new healthcare plan last week. And in that plan, 2 of the core challenges in healthcare were identified as workforce development and primary care. Together, this model is addressing both those challenges, and we're going to continue working to continue to find new ways to help and make an even greater difference. We, as a foundation, are more than a scholarship program. Scholarships are the most important thing. They are always going to be the priority, so students, we are always going to have your back. But we also know that we have roles to play in helping succession planning and helping to ensure that the communities where you're going know you're coming and know that it matters, that you feel welcome and valued. So with that, I just wanted to say congratulations again to all of you. It is such a pleasure to see faces. So many of you I've seen on screens or through your applications, and I've been able to put faces to names tonight in a way that is so wonderful. And I can't wait until after our reception and I can see and hear from you more. So with that, thank you so much. Congratulations to our live stream audience. Thank you as well for attending. Good night.